Mongolian lineup, and joins them as another Mongolian member. Look, we're gonna get there. Don't worry.
Yeah, we were discussing how do you say this guy's name. I don't actually know. If you do know, let us know. I'm going with Pew 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 though. That's my default. I apologize if that's wrong. We just got word about it, so we
It's a
didn't get to
foreshadowing
go
nickname,
find and
perhaps.
ask.
Maybe he's going to be
True.
letting that thing go here. And towards A, potentially, right around the bin, and the nade to just clear a door. So it's our player to watch right around that corner. And Wolf goes one and then done. And then the Canadian cornerstone cleans up top with the assist of Fruit Cup X in from Mini. A very easy pistol round that falls the way of the Blue Jays.
Yeah, nasty couple of shots with those dualies for Freshie. Lovely stuff. And, Blue Jays off to a hot start for sure. Losing Neo, Neo not being in the server tonight, that's a big hit. That's the AWP player here for Akimbo. And as much as, we don't have a ton of information about their sub, I just feel like that's a tough loss no matter how well PPP plays. And, it's not really about what he will or won't do. It's just about that empty space left in the Akimbo roster tonight,
which has been sort of a conversation of the difference here as ZY takes a big fight outside. Obi gets the next look into it, and ZY barely remains up top. But you saw a member track on to this squad, Consti, a player that you may have seen before on Fluffy Aimers around the North American scene, as Snav going to be very close to ZY here. You'll maybe see the end of that engagement momentarily. But Consti picked up the AWP for the Akimbo squad and then routinely transferred over to Vagrants. As I am giving you the diagnosis, it's Cameron that is pulling in 2 Deagle kills. Could be a third out of the sub with some decent damage that does come in through Akimbo's efforts. Vincent wouldn't call that a complete loss.
No, not a complete loss, but this is an Akimbo team that really likes to keep the pressure up, and it does mean that those purchases are costly, right? Like, look at the investments this round. Dude, they're gonna have like no utility for this fight. It's currently a couple of smokes. Cameron's got the full kit, and CY is going to be able to afford a little bit more thanks to picking up a Galil, but yeah, 3 smokes total, 1 molly for Nuke, that's just not enough usually.
Not going to be nearly enough. And so the only registered substitute on that Akimbo roster is going to be going into the way. No laps, you got to get out of the way. And that spam, it's Slight is going to go 2 for 2 off of the back of his hand. That is a little ridiculous to start off this third round. Even got a spotting up into that player at top silo. Slight, you better stop swiping. He is close to getting this third, but I think the damage done, his life being up is what matters the most.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, Slate taking all those peaks and not really getting punished for it is a bit absurd in and of itself. Obi can't quite connect the shots, and that's a bit frustrating for him. Finally, it's the trade frag, but that's as Cameron goes down. So it's both he and ZY that are left here for the clutch. A little bit of a lower HP bar there on the snap, and Slate half health, thanks to Obi's previous engagements, but this doesn't change how difficult it's going to be for Akimbo to break back through.
And Wolf is tucked all the way into the mini corner. You've got to really bring the jaws down upon this wrap. And, oh, there's a shadow scene. So you get that alert over from Big Garage. That's information given. And then you get the behind part of this setup. Great look in 4 alive out of it. That's the first gun round that's melted away from Akimbo.
Yeah, and listen, I don't think Blue Jays really have to be too worried in that round. They get fortunate for Slight to track down 2 freebies through the smoke. And so they're easily able to have the relief of just having that man advantage the whole time. So Slight can continue to afford to fight from the back of credit. No problems whatsoever. Blue Jays, unfortunate, I think, for Akimbo, that they start that round on such a bad footing. Oh, that's not bad. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be through traffic right now. You're going to try and pull over a couple more players. I would say that the majority of this Blue Jays crew has been prepared for this stop. Freshie, we last checked in with him in that pistol round, the dualies, but he's up with the AK, and hey, maybe a couple more pistols to check. He'll break 2 of these next, and Freshie will fade out.
Leaves Laxi, who is incredibly deadly on this deagle, but has, I think, to be fair, more recently struggled a little bit. Trying to have a big impact in a 1v4. Doesn't have the bomb. Has to try and collect that from Freshy.
Good luck.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I think Freshy's falling back here, so grab that up. But how do you get onto the site proper? Crossfire set. Fruit Cup and Freshy clocking in the cubby there.
The Deagle just searches for it, and now you give it a go, popping right into the belly of the beast. It's 4 up alive again, and I'm already starting to sound like a broken record, though. I think we expected a bit of a one-sided start from the Blue Jays, especially getting into the defense.
I don't know if, I expected like a one-sided start, particularly, outside of it just being the defense, but I think, Blue Jays definitely highly favored in this matchup. That becomes even more so when you're talking about your sub stepping in. And, I don't even know, like, how much time these guys have had, like, playing with their sub.
And we don't know much about this player. We looked on their profile, are playing an FPL, right? Getting some great reps out there from what we can tell, so Akimbo, they'll pull together the squad today. Freshy gets a very crucial trade onto Obi. That was within a very nice info for Akimbo, but, it's kind of humorous to think back, like, what, Taggy's finally found a home. I know Dan's is still within North America, but is busy, right? A couple of these Akimbo subs have went on to new beginnings.
Where's Highs at?
He's on Mythic.
That's right. Unfortunate. Oh, nice find. That's a double up there from Pew Pew Pew. Easy enough, and turns the tides of this round. It was a disadvantage, now turned victorious, as now Wolf is about to be isolated and pressed at the issue here on A.
Oh, and in just the perfect spot, but a really labored work onto that spray, and look at how it just pops out of the vent. It's light that says hello, and it may just be less a surprise onto that last player. Just a double punishment let out of the scope right at the end, makes it 3 total for that gentleman. Slight is starting out 8-1. That's pretty dang impressive.
Yeah, Slight, having a lot of good performances here more recently with Blue Jays. I think, this team's struggles in the past before the Snav iteration of this squad, they've lived and died a little bit too much by Slight, but now it feels like that's not the case with Fruit Cup, with Wolf here available. Snav, providing a lot more firepower than they had before as well in the leadership department. So a lot to love about what Blue Jays have been doing. They continue that to a 5th round victory.
A quick hit here. Cameron going to be seen out of this smoke and just exactly depleted. When we went on to see Akimbo go ahead and win season 50 of Advanced, it was through very, very puggy efforts, right? Showing off their individual skill that was just far and none ahead of much of the competition that they laid their hands on. But right when you go to challenge mechanical skill, Fruit Cup is not the player you want to be lenting into a 1v1. He goes ahead and defends ramp only for a moment, but this Blue Jays machine is working perfectly. Instant trade, they're keeping tabs on outside, ready to get this kill that looks a little bit awkward up the fray, definitely. 1v2 up for the sub now.
That's absurd that Obi's going to get 2 out of that. Great trade out of Slight, but Freshy's down at the lower bomb site, which means that his Slight is going to resettle himself, his feet up in heaven. PPP's got a very real opportunity to win this. Smoke, flash, nade is in the kit to work with. Taking his time to clear out all of these different avenues of approach to make sure that there's no mistakes to be made. The problem is, as soon as he tries to get this bomb down, Slight can become a problem, and in fact, he's going to nade the smoke open. Doesn't commit to it. Nice shot for Pew Pew Pew. Slight goes down. That's all up to Freshy.
The first round could come on the board of Akimbo through one more member of the Mongolian Corps pulled to when they exactly needed him. Put yourself in a great chance to actually go ahead and do this, but have to remember the heroics of Obi that brought us this far. Freshy just really playing this outside of the box. So patient, but maybe so pristine, not seen on the timing, and now Freshie is just gonna crawl up, but they've switched spots. Now you're defending the bomb from this corner, and Freshie just doesn't know what to think. It's gonna be a smoke in the bomb, and Freshie is gonna attempt this, and Freshie wins the fight, has the kit, and it's looking like 6 creeping all the way through, and it is just enough time.
What an incredible effort from Pew Pew Pew. Unfortunately for him, I mean, it is genuinely a game of timing right there. Freshie gets a vision, and it's a step further back for Pew 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 that doesn't come at the right time. Allows Freshie the moment he needs to readjust the crosshair. Lovely work from Freshie to clutch that one back up. Advantage had for Blue Jays, brought back by Obi, and almost taken through to the end by Pew Pew Pew, but nonetheless, Akimbo stays scoreless in this nuke.
Big opportunity for them to, show around that we were just kind of serving up theme-wise, where you were just going to be able to kind of catch Blue Jays off guard when they least expected you, but 6-0 is the mark, and you're not even going to really feel how close it is because the tension is still just that distance. With Akimbo teasing an IA hit right now, Freshie doesn't know what to think.
Get out ahead of that smoke? I don't think so. So that door smoke refresh means that Akimbo have to wait a little bit longer. Slides up in position, but they're going to refresh it again and break it open. Obi might be in trouble. Fortunately, steps away perfectly. Here's the nade coming. All of these guys readied in lobby. No yard control. Full space there. Snav is out at red. So there's no information that Akimbo are denying. Blue Jays have a very clear understanding of where these guys are at.
CY goes ahead and joins the rest of the crew right at the end, and it is a very anticlimactic spill onto the bomb site. They have to go on a pressured tempo because these are the bounds they've placed themselves within, but they are rising above their expectations for where these A hits have had to have gone in the previous. They get the trades out. Even if it is sublet, they go in with the ownership, the confidence that we know an Akimbo crew to have anyway. Fruit Cup likely to hold on to this rifle.
I'm a little surprised at how little Blue Jays actually punish Akimbo for waiting for a minute and a half almost and doing nothing with the map. Like, Akimbo had literally zero map control when they go for that A attack. And Blue Jays knew it. Oh my goodness. Thought maybe we were seeing a little Fruit Cup attempt ninja right there. Take a couple with him. But it is Akimbo on the board. First time over on Nuke that they've had that privilege.
And honestly, a bit of a shaken up moment for them. I mean, old Captain Wolf has got a whole bank account behind him, likely to maybe serve up what could be, a nice little crawl into share a couple of MP9s with the Love Vincent, a lobby crunch. Always, works for me, but they've got other plans.
That's Commander Wolf to you.
Did I? Oh, goodness gracious.
You've goofed it.
And I'm a phony.
Yeah, all the people who care, they know.
I understand the pain. You know how I am with my niche subjects.
I do. Any wire references?
I just got to get them right. I'll go ahead and take my charge there. The references, not on par today. Yours? Different story.
Well, you'll get there. It's time plenty for us to recover, to reset, and Akimbo thinking the same thing for themselves as they just contact out here towards the ramp side. Felt like Slight had a connection, might have even doubled up, but that nade and the molly to follow are just enough for him to be taken down. Akimbo have opened the door for the B-bomb site.
And it's just on Fruit Cup here. The backup is going to be so far. Low HP Laxi peeked into first. It's Fruit Cup with all three right out of the A1S. It's the test that he passes with flying colors, and the final two members of Akimbo are going to have to hold on to this one for dear life. But Wolf, and Freshie, what a timing they get. But who does this favor more? Likely Obi turning the corner right now, going to lay eyes on the first. Not ready for the slap down by Freshie. A 1v1.
He's on the open. I feel like that's going to be so unexpected, and it is. Freshie can't believe his eyes. The camera is so incredibly exposed.
And a molly.
Massive. Knows that he's back double door as well. Just tap under the bomb, but he's playing a little bit of a dangerous game. Dropping the gun! Oh my goodness, he doesn't get away with it. Cameron waits out those 3 seconds.
Cameron is just a magician of some sorts. You know, I'm not an engineer by any sorts, Vincent. I've never claimed to be. A businessman that I can rely on the skeevy tricks that Cameron puts down. You know, game meets game. How the heck does he open one door right there to get that peak and lower? Am I the only one that's seeing this?
I think it's when like if there's like a gun in the way, it'll open offset like that. That's what I'm going with. I'm sticking to the guns there. Either way, Akimbo doubled up in rounds, and now they've doubled down in breaking Blue Jays' economy.
We got a Zeus fan at the observer table today, and I'm sitting right next to him.
2 peas in a pod.
Absolutely. Will Freshie get it? We don't know. Leaning into the later this goes, I like his odds, but it seems to be back to Old Faithful. They just cleared out ramp. They're not going to resist the temptation in round 9.
Yeah, big win in this area last round. Fruit Cup almost put an end to it, though. It's Slight. He's the only one down on the Bravo base at the moment. And he's got a USB. So even if Akimbo do head this direction, I don't think that Slight's going to be able to put up that sort of defense.
And he gives them the audio cue of that one door just trying to close, maybe baiting in a rotation away, but it's the mind games that Slight is now going to play and really try and cast to perfection. Boy. It's the clock that he has in his pocket, checks it, it's 30 seconds, he's just got to stay alive, and Wolf swoops in as he does. A hero today, and a 7th is on the way for the Blue Jays. Well, it's right dang there.
I'm just really confused at why Akimbo are so laissez-faire about trying to clear out the B site. Like, why do they think it's so clear? That's what I want to know. Yeah, they spotted somebody in hell. They know that there's presence towards A, but like Slight was on B the whole time. They never killed a ramp player, so I just don't know where they thought the ramp guy was. Maybe just assumed that there was some sort of stack. Regardless, that's massive for Wolf. A triple kill to pull back a round, which is Deagles and USPs.
Keep him guessing. Oh, and this is not going to be something that they expect. A Mag 10 out red this far in the half. Well, Snap, you've just got to be spreading some salt into the wound right now, though. This has been a part of Blue Jays' stance sort of the entire time, right? In all of these rounds, particularly early in this one, as Fruit Cup is just going to be lighting up the scoreboard. It's been Snab who has not been shy outside at all. They've really been keeping them guessing on the extremities as OB goes ahead and finally trades out Snav.
Honestly, I just feel like Snab hasn't been tested as much as I would have hoped out in yard. You know, here and there, it's been the case, but he's very often been able to define the control of that area of the map for Blue Jays without much of a problem. Akimbo not fighting for it as aggressively as you would typically anticipate for a T-side on Nuke. That being said, this T-side, it's winding down to a close. 2 rounds, a back-to-back, but they couldn't take the third because even against the Eco, Wolf dominated. And now it could be even less. It could be near nothing for Akimbo if they don't bring it back now.
I mean, you definitely want to lent in to an 8-4. I mean, specifically against the margins today. What we know, firepower is available within this cabinet. Freshie, exposed right on top of the hut, may have been kind of hinting in for a bit of a quicker finish towards this, maybe a faster start right on, and it's through a door that Laxi is just going to be sliding all the way in. Oh, but it's so hectic. While those paths come all the way through, in the meantime, it's Blue Jays that come up with 3 kills when they had the worst positioning, Vincent. They seem bulletproof at the moment.
I mean, I would even push back maybe on them having the worst positioning of that situation. That flash that Freshie throws is there to try and disrupt the playthrough door. He's got the support of Snav as well and his site player. So, you know, whilst it might look a little bit tentative at first, we saw when tested, Blue Jays, they'd bend, but they do not break.
Cole Cameron giving it a shot at the 1v4. The lone representative that is seen bringing that Akimbo banner anywhere at that same Fragadelphia land that we saw Blue Jays won. I know the Akimbo banner was taken by Cameron in a Pug Mix team. We obviously saw them in Chicago earlier this year, Vincent. And, I mean, you kind of know that a lot of these teams that win advanced have to get it's already April. I don't like how fast the time is going. They have to sit there and like focus on other competitions, focus on maybe the scrims and the reps that are going to be developing as they have to wait till that next season of ECL, right? And Akimbo has done great work with the reps that they have gotten this season, but they need to finish hard. Snab with an opening gunfight, winning that outside. It's going to be Fruit Cup challenge next onto the ramp, and right here it's going to be damped onto that first player, and Fruit Cup is now on the run.
We're just fighting ramp with no flashes, no utility, no nothing, trying to challenge Fruit Cup? I think not. I just cannot get behind that. He'll finally be bested, but he's done a ton of damage to Pew 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 in the process. Adjustment made, but Snav is quicker. And with that, Akimbo, unfortunately, they are lacking a whole lot left. Pew 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 and ZY are left to try and clean up the pieces.
Oh, and it's Slight. Takes out the knee. He can't decide. Has them both out now. Whips out the sidearm and gets it done at the end of the day. 10 rounds, and through Slight's efforts, puts Akimbo away. We go into a quick halftime where we're going to get it together, and I think Akimbo are as well.
Safety nets are overrated. Yeah. If you make one, you will fall. Too much of a temptation. Yeah. There's a comfort in the crawl. Now I've been on my feet too long. I know I'm strong. Just looking for some solid ground. So I can start to run. I don't wanna be tired, moving toward my flight. I don't wanna be tired. Feels like it's my time. I don't need your light. Don't you waste your time.
To a comeback, and Akimbo now gonna look at the defense. It's gonna take a Mongolian miracle comeback out of this squad, Vincent. Right now, they need a hope.
I mean, don't call it a comeback yet. We ain't even close to that. Slight sending it outdoor, smoking the flash that following through, and Wolf gets his before getting sidelined. Pew 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 grabs the one before he too will fall, and Laxi from Heaven is only able to take a couple of pot shots, takes Fruit Cup with him, and stays alive with Obi on the flank. It's 3v2.
Gotta come down here from the young IGL and dancing around with Freshie. Just back to back. And finally, Laxi stabs through. All of a sudden, on the young Opera to try and make this thing go his way. Dancing back to back. Right here on the floor. He is on the hot seat. And right now, just can't put that down. It's a third round that flies the way of Laxi's crew. And maybe that's your first ingredient to get there, Vincent? Now you can make do.
I mean, yeah, we're tossing in, you know, a little of this, a little of that. We're starting the beef in the stew of the comeback, but it's still got a lot to be desired, Marky. We still need, you know, some pampering of this stew before we get there. And just one pistol round, like, that's great, but Blue Jays get a bomb plant, and you know what that means? They're not going to let them hold back to start building up into this. They're just going to keep the pressure up. Laser focused or Blue Jays on pushing this one out and through for Nuke, make it go into the next best of one with an early lead.
Looking over in that stance, it's a little bit heavier outside. But I keep an eye on the SMGs that are around this bin. ZY, you can put up a bit of a focus towards that prong of the inner approach maybe later on. Right now, working in tandem with Cameron, who is going to be like a Swiss Army knife in this mini position. He goes down below, but he may be a missing mark here ahead of this thing, as the smoke is going to be right down towards a mini. Right now, you're just unable to read this Blue Jays squad, and then when you see the words on the page, boy, they just come back right at you. That's a huge shot that Fruit Cup gets up, and all of a sudden, 3 bodies drop over for the Blue Jays.
I mean, Blue Jays are just a step ahead. They get that early pick, and then they look for the reactions from Akimbo, and those reactions are covered at every single turn. Freshie's got another one, and Pew 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 read like a friggin' book right now. He's got no chance. As 5 survive, that's why the bomb plant means everything for Blue Jays. Pistol gods are Akimbo in very many situations. You give Obi or Laxi a pistol round, and I feel like they do miracles. Unfortunately, the gun round, a whole different story.
They're absolutely friggin' being red right now. Perhaps it's going to take a whole lot more than the packet tonight, Vincent, to keep them on this first map. A float like that, they're putting it all into the middle of the table right now.
Well, sometimes you stack the chips all in and lose. This time, Akimbo trying to do it once again. A lot of damage there on the Laxi. Cameron not off for it very much himself either. These ranged duels are so very favorable for these weapons that Blue Jays has at their disposal. Though I say that, the Deagles are still deadly. Got to be careful of those.
Oh, but Freshie just strikes outdoor. 2 out of the MP9. And Obi can spin, put a little bit of style on that Deagle all he wants. It's going to have to take some putting out to the paper right now. There had to have been a spotting on this player, and they ended up getting that down. And that wall is only so thick. There are a multitude of bullets flying through it, and I am telling you that there is one young IGL who's not walking away, and we'll have to just walk into the 16th round with their heads held high, Vincent. At this point in the game, you got to just actually put it together and see if you can make this thing prolong for as long as you can manage it, because this nuke so far has been super one-sided, and you would like to see a little bit of yellow tape put out for your squad eventually.
I mean, a little something, something. I just don't feel like nuke is where it's going to happen. Their investment, I mean, why wouldn't they? Everything in, as we had mentioned before. But there's no limits to this one. 100, 200 hold 'em. And Akimbo are down bad.
Again, trying these outside smokes. There isn't really a huge amount of effort or thought that is put into the planning of this round, right? It's Blue Jays seeing what they have in their deck, and they're satisfied with their hand, right? They're willing to walk out and immediately challenge it before they're going to have to sort of set it into a different gear, because they're 1 round away. They're already being contacted in through lobby. It's waiting for these prolonged engagements to come right out. At this point, they realize that Akimbo may not be giving it to them.
Ooh.
And right now, it'll be Akimbo realizing it. Close range fight taken by Cameron 1 onto Slight.
Little fake. As if he's dropping back down. That's not going to be the case. PPPU might have a little bit to deal with too here. Oh, but if he steps forward, he's going to be the one in trouble momentarily. The trouble comes, but it's for Fruit Cup. Who gets the one frag? ZY, relatively low, but he adds Wolf to those low HP bars. And there's maybe more to be done. Freshie gets his, a 1v1 at range. These MP9s trying to farm away. ZY worse off in the duel, and it's Freshie as MP9 farms. 4 kills in that last round to close out the 13-3.
A 13-3, and this nuke not to be for the Akimbos